I hated that photo. I was like, it looks horrible. But Tobi, in typical Tobi fashion, just posted it. It felt like it was World War III, where you have ambulances turned sideways on a freeway.
It looked like a zombie invasion.
You spent so much money in this event, and like, what's the point of doing this event? And I'm just like, you don't even get it, dude.
Everybody's trying to be a fund manager because they think with token they can make a quick money. They're going to realize the hard reality. It's not that easy as it looks like.
You've reached Tobi and Brent. We'll get back to you.
Where do we even begin?
It's been a journey.
It has been a journey. Let's just say that.
The question I always ask you is,
if you asked me 8 months ago if I would be here right now, I would say you're a liar.
Yeah, if I would ask you 8 months ago, would you be here and carrying your face in the back of your t-shirt?
Well, you know, when that started, I hated that photo. I've told you this. I've told people this. I am not a narcissist. I'm not an egomaniac. Okay, which is rare in this space. And especially if you're someone that wants to put your freaking face on a t-shirt and on banners everywhere. And when this guy put that photo, which is now basically our bat signal, you shine it up in the sky and then people just come. I absolutely hated it. And I was like, it looks horrible. My face is squeezed. I'm emasculated, yada, 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 yada.
Like one guy said, this is still an HR case.
This is an HR case. This is a sexual harassment case. I was like, I hate this photo. Take it down. But Tobi, in typical Tobi fashion, just posted it. And I was like, oh my God.
It got like 1,000 likes on Instagram.
Yeah. It was embarrassing.
So
and then it got 1,000 likes. And I was like, well, maybe we have something here. And then it was like, well, let's host an event and let's just slap our face on it.
Market research, buddy.
Yeah. Well, it's called being different, right? I think that's the like genesis of what we're doing, right? Is like
just being different.
But it's not just being different to be different. It's different because how a lot of how the industry has been going, I think is outdated.
Yeah.
Right. It's outdated in that shilling stuff, being overly salesy, being on the founder side, on the marketing side, that was the ZERP environment. You could do that. Now it's like you have to actually build shit. Then on the venture side, we just noticed most VCs investors are ivory tower personalities, boring. It's not just about being boring. It's about if you're actually going to deliver returns for LPs and investors over time. The generation of founders and builders especially from Gen Z, millennials now, and moving forward, they use social media. They want VCs on their cap table. They want KOLs on their cap table that are going to bring value outside of just capital, right? And that's where venture capital has been around for decades, but the advent of leveraging social media, leveraging actually engaging in-person events, which is a crazy concept, apparently, because Tobi and I put our face on stuff and it's genuine, right? We're not here shilling stuff. We're not here, hey, come to our thing and you had to download an app and come to our event and you got to listen to a pitch. It's like, no, we actually just know if you put good people in a room, you're authentic, you have drinks, you have good music, good things are going to happen, right? And that just doesn't happen in this space. And that's, I think, why things have taken off how they have, is because it is different. But going back to our genesis of it's different, but it's different because how things have been done is outdated and it's time for a new generation.
It's also the community part at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's like these Telegram groups and the amount of effort we put in these groups is insane.
It's a lot. We do not use
DM'd like
community
thousands
managers.
of people.
Thousands.
And try to get them in those groups. We added them on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, keeping them updated. And especially Dubai, we had like 35,000 messages being sent in like 4 days in this group.
Yeah. Well, that was during the crazy flood, for those that don't know. Dubai had the biggest rain, the most amount of rain in like 75 years. The day before our event, and flooded the streets. It felt like it was World War III, where you have ambulances turned sideways on a freeway because it got stuck in multiple feet of like
there
water.
were hundreds of. It looked like a zombie invasion.
Zombie invasion.
It basically
Basically,
was a zombie
think of what's the Will Smith movie? The
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. Basically, I Am Legend of Dubai.
It was literally I Am Legend.
Yeah. And we still, even during that event, the day before, biggest rain, flooding, we got stuck on the Palm. Couldn't even get off the Palm because the road to get onto the Palm was flooded. We saw it over 800 people show up to our event.
It was epic. And the party lasted until 4.
Yeah, we
Bro, the amount of DMs I get of people say, I met these people because of you.
Yeah.
Is epic.
Yeah, it's all fun, and we joke and we laugh and we have a good time. But the reality is that is the driver for bringing people to your events, right? People want an experience. People
it's
don't
the value add at the end of the day.
But
Right?
when you do that, you bring good people and then you make good connections.
Yeah.
If the premise of an event, the energy of an event is dead, it's faceless, there's no energy.
Well, there's
to
a
it.
different bonding at our events because we're not going to sit there and have like a panel and like, you know, it's just boring. It's like, it's either themed to something fun or it is a party. Bro, I made my best connections in this industry by partying with those people. Literally.
Yes.
Literally.
Well, that's,
because
yeah.
like, no, like that's how I built my network.
I built my network through partying.
No, because it's like a different bonding thing.
Well,
right?
it's just, and the reality is investors, founders like to do business with people that they like.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a crazy...
If you don't have an insane story to tell, you're not going to bond.
Yeah, unless you're like Steve Jobs or something where you're like, you are that good where you don't even have to be fun or you like to party or do anything. And you can just build
Good thing that we're both.
multiple billion-dollar companies. It's like you have to engage people. You have to be likable. You have to be genuine and authentic and not be trying to sell people stuff. And like, hey, I want to be friends with you so you invest in my company. It's like, that's weird. Don't be weird. A lot of weird people in this industry.
That reminds me,
like,
actually, we should get some testimonials. I want to record a video today where people tell us how a party was yesterday.
Yeah. We'll get testimonials.
No, that's important, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes you don't understand.
So shooting a podcast. He's like, yeah, we should do this thing tomorrow. Yeah. No, totally. But that's like why things are going. I think that's like the evolution of like how we like got here was like through these events, through the social media, through building like the communities. It's genuine, right? Meaning when we party with people and have fun and go out and have events, like we're there to have fun. That's the first priority.
Yeah, have a bit fun more with me than you, but like, yeah.
No, I mean, come on. I'm fun. I'm not as fun. I go to bed a lot earlier. Yeah. But, that's the yin and yang, If I was exactly like you, I would, want to kill myself. That's why I'm me and you're you. I go to bed at, 12, you go to bed at 4. And that's fine. But that's older wisdom.
But that
comes from me.
Just the amount of effort and work.
It is a shit ton of effort. I wake up every day to a panic attack. I don't take any medication
yet.
Yet. A lot of people in the industry do. But at some point,
it is a panic attack.
I wake up to like
1,000 messages every single day.
Dude, I had someone, I won't say names. There was some person that came up to me last night and was like, okay.
Go for it. You're in a safe space.
She goes, you sent me a message on LinkedIn and you sent me a message on Twitter and it was the exact same message. And I respond to you and you didn't respond back to me. And what I wanted, like, okay, so here's my politically correct answer, which is, I'm sorry. I sent you 2 messages and I have freaking 4,000 messages between my Telegram, my WhatsApp, my Twitter, this and that. I didn't get back to you. I'm sorry. I let it rant for like 10 seconds. My real answer is, if you don't fucking like it, leave. We're hosting an event. You're drinking at, having a good time, making connections, and you're complaining.
How dare you? Sending
I'm just
2
like,
messages, same
vamos.
exact messages.
Adios. Why are you here? But like, this is why a lot of people don't throw events and they give free things, because when you give things for free, people don't appreciate it. And they don't respect it because it's like, oh, I just show up and I just drink and I
So you
have
should
fun.
charge now.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But that to me just like blows my mind about I've talked on panels and stuff about this like short-term thinking of like, well, you know, you didn't fulfill me totally. And it's just like, dude, you're in an industry of Web3, crypto, venture, investing, yada, yada. It's like anyone, if you're thinking short-term of like, what's in it for me? That's like your first thought, you're not going to make it anywhere.
It's also my last LinkedIn post that went viral.
Yeah. You're just
Can I have an intro?
Just
Yeah?
be
Or
an
pay me.
employee, be an employee somewhere and just get a salary and just take orders. But you want to build a company, you want to actually build a venture capital fund, you want to take a LP money. This mindset of like short term, like what's in it for me? It's like, dude, we throw events, we did. Remember in the very beginning we started doing this, I said, what is the ROI of throwing these events?
Nothing.
You meet a bunch of people, you spend a lot of money, you spend a shit ton of time building these groups, engaging with people. We both probably talk to 500 people a day between all the different channels, on top of investing, on top of everything else, on top of having a personal life, all these like other things. What is even the point of running these events?
Bro, you need to understand. The only thing I'm talented at is basically building connections. And my point is, no. My point is, when we started these events, like I've been to like 300 something crypto events as a speaker.
No, you've
as an
done way more
attendee.
than that. You've been way
Yeah,
more.
probably more, but a lot. But my point is, these things was the best thing we could have done. That was hands down the best thing we could have done, because there's no better way of actually engaging with all those people. I mean, social media is one thing and getting likes and all these things and putting your face out every single day, but actually connecting with the people, having a drink with them, taking a picture, meeting them in person, even though, yeah, sometimes I forget who you are, fair. But like most of the time, I do have a gist of who you are, what you're doing. And that is what makes a difference. You actually, because most of the people sponsor an event don't even fucking show up. Right? It's like literally what's happening all the time. Rather than just like sitting there and like actually engaging with your audience, with your customers, whoever it is, what you're trying to target, is like you have to take the effort.
Yeah, we're trying to back up our words by showing that short-term thinking gets you nowhere. Long-term thinking, building connections, where you're not trying to get something in the very beginning, is what actually generates value over like time, right? And so I was setting you up for that in the sense that I've seen it with my own eyeballs now. We've done ETH Denver, we did Token Dubai, we just did Consensus, and you can't predict what's gonna come from that, right? We meet our amazing videographer. We're on the 83rd floor of the One World Trade Center building in New York City. We're driving McLarens and Lamborghinis. We meet family office, like all these like things. It wasn't our intention. Our intention was not starting with, we're going to throw these events, so we're going to meet a bunch of LPs, or we're going to meet a bunch of connections that are going to take us to the next level. That was not the goal. The goal was, no one's doing this. No one's throwing good events in like crypto, really. No one's holding genuine, especially on the investor side, holding genuine places where people can meet to make connections. And we want to be a venue and a opportunity for that. That's it. That was the mindset.
Yeah, but also a lot of people confuse it, because then they start with, oh, I want to do this because I want to get more customers. I want to do this because I get more investors.
Well, remember that's what and that's what I told you in the beginning. I was like, if we spend $20,000 on this one event, what are we gonna get out of it? What's even the point of the energy and the effort of doing all this, right? And you were like, you don't know what's gonna come from it.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to come from.
You have no idea. Nothing could come from it. You could throw an event and just meet a bunch of people that maybe there's no direct connection for, and then that's it.
Rare though.
Yeah.
If you target it properly.
Yeah, but exactly. We'll stress
good.
that's not the problem. Yeah.
Right. But my point is, it's just like these things work, and it builds that whole circle of things we're going to do and how we're going to support the startup ecosystem.
Yeah. And then to be very clear on that as well, just going to the short-term versus long-term thinking, we have made $0. $0 running these events the last three months. Every single dollar that we raise, we put into the venue. We're not making profits here.
No, I mean, we lost money technically. If you
No, we
consider the
100%
small
are
events.
losing money. Yeah, absolutely. No, we're for sure losing money. And that's the thing, right? If
Money losing business.
we're in the setting money on fire business. We like setting money on fire. Yeah, but like that's the idea is like we were working at a place where we're getting a wage. Then we're throwing events, we're doing social media, all these other things, and getting paid $0 extra for. Who even does that?
Yeah.
Who the hell wants to run a 4,000 person Telegram group, host 3 events in a week, and get paid $0 for it? We don't even have a market. We don't even have an event person. It's me calling the venues. Hey, we want to host a Tobi and Brent thing here in a month. Yeah, you need to wire us $15,000. Okay, now we got to go figure it out.
Yeah, that's why I don't look at my credit card statement.
Don't even look at your credit card this month. You know,
It looks horrible.
yeah, and it's like we're not a founder of a startup that's like raising money with like pressure and all like that. But like in the venture world, this is very unconventional. I mean, I won't say names, but there are people who are like, you spent so much money at this event and like, what's the point of doing this event? And I'm just like, you don't even get it, dude. And like, that's another thing in life. If you're doing something cool and it's working and someone is criticizing you, judging you, doesn't get it, don't even, I've had to tell you this many times. I'm a little older than you, so I've, learned a little more. You just let them go, just let them talk, and then just say, cool, man, and then move on.
Yeah, but
It's not worth explaining what the hell we're doing.
No, it's the same thing when I post something stupid like my nail file on LinkedIn and someone is like commenting.
That was
not
insane.
LinkedIn.
How many impressions did you get on that on LinkedIn from the nail file?
That's like 40,000 for my nail file.
40,000 impressions by just saying I got my nail file removed from my bag.
Yeah, I linked that post in the description because you got to check this out. I literally just posted a tiny nail file and said it was taken away by security.
Yeah, so it's like, doing things people don't understand. It's like, who cares?
No, they should keep it coming. I love the negative energy.
Yeah.
It just feeds the algorithm.
Yeah. Well, engagement. That's basically all it is. If you get engagement.
Attention economy. So I also sound smart for
the attention economy, yeah. And so that's basically the genesis of how this stuff started. And then that's like why we're at where we're at now, where we're like, okay, no one's good at throwing events. A lot of companies are really bad at marketing, branding, social awareness. You and I joke often that we should just be KOLs. Like actually investing to get DPI is very difficult.
I mean, at this point, we basically
there's a reason like 95% of venture funds don't get past fund 3 or even make it to fund 3. Fund 1 is hype, all hype. When investors raise money from family offices, everyone else, it's just hype. It's basically, do you like the person?
Yeah.
And fund managers that can't raise more than $10 million, it's like, okay, well, not a lot of people like what you're doing. Because it just shows in the numbers. Fund 2, a little bit of what you've actually accomplished, plus do they like you? Fund 3 is, what is your DPI?
Yeah. Money in my pocket.
Money back to investors in their pockets. And if that's a bad number, then you're not going to have a fund anymore. And there's a lot. I mean, not even just in Web3, but in
Web3 specific, because there's so many funds that are popping out where everybody's trying to be a fund manager because they think with token they can make a quick money, and then they're gonna realize the hard reality that's gonna come down, that's gonna bite them, because it's not that easy as it looks like. Right? You're gonna invest in a bunch of tokens, they're gonna fail, or like you have a long vesting period, you have all these things which is gonna just diminish your DPI over time.
Yeah, well, making money trading versus running a venture capital fund, investing money, trying to help build companies is a very different skill set. And a lot of Web3 funds came from a trading background. That's very different than making money through equity and tokens over time and actually working with founders helping them build their companies, Yeah. And so, so there'll be a lot of things that'll get washed out for sure. But that's what, I talk about the like ZERP environment where all these people became VCs because money was cheap, 0% interest. So all these funds like popped up, but you'll see in the next 5 years, how many of them make it past fund 3? Ask, if you're a founder and you're talking to a venture fund, ask them what fund they're on. How many of them are fund 1s and fund 2s? See how many get to fund 3.
I mean, crypto
now for us, we're judged by that same metric over time. right?
That's why I want to be a KOL.
But that's why, yeah. Well, that's why you have to be a KOL plus a venture fund like over time, or at least giving something else outside of just capital.
Yeah.
Because again, I think most venture funds are glorified ATM machines. They give you money, and that's basically it. And every single founder I talk to, they're not going to say it to other VCs to their faces, but they're like, that's basically it. Because what else are you really doing in venture outside of giving money?
Yeah, but everybody's going to tell you that they're going to do all these things for you. They're all going to be the nicest
we're going to give
person.
you resources, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that.
Support and KOL introductions and listings and freaking that.
Yeah, but here's the cold reality is no
one cares.
Yeah. Well, again, a lot of these venture funds have 100+ companies in their portfolio. How the hell can you help 100 founders with all these different things? And this is the awkward part of investing, is maybe you invest in a company, maybe it's not going well. If you're a people pleaser, get out of venture and get out of building companies.
This is my therapist said as well.
People pleasing kills industries, kills companies, kills investing. Not gonna name names. I've had many frank conversations where I'm like, I don't want to either, for everybody even just doing this investment, I don't want to work with this company anymore. Okay. We invested. I think it's going to go to zero. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of the founder's time. Let's cut communication. You have to do that. It's a joke to tell founders and take money or give them money and tell LPs, we're going to help 100 founders in our portfolio. No, you're not. The point of venture is to find, out of 100 investments, 3 to 5.
I love the energy, by the way.
Yeah, 3 to 5 companies that have a chance to actually return money to your actual customers, which are LPs. This nonsense of like, we have to talk to 100 founders every single day and like help them build their companies. I'm like, we're a team of like 5 people.
Venture capital means that you basically are a co-founder. So you have to help every single day.
And expectations. And that's me about the industry that drives me nuts, is like, if you're a venture fund, you're like, look, we're just giving you money and maybe a little bit else, and that's it, then just be honest.
Yeah. Otherwise,
but this whole like, we're gonna lose. Yeah. But this whole like, we're gonna help build your company and we're gonna invest. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And as founders, ask how many VCs that are on your cap table you've talked to give you actually honest feedback, and maybe ever tell you things like, this is not working, and if you keep this up, we're either going to end communication or we're not going to continue working together. Because they don't want to do that, because they either have extra tokens or they have, right? But like, my point is like, you have to be able to have hard conversations in like venture and in startups. And I feel like that just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. It's also counterproductive, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to tell a startup if they're doing something wrong or right.
Yes, exactly. And how many founders will be like, I ask a VC, will you lead my round? Will you come in my company? And what do they tell you?
They're going to tell you, yeah, maybe, we have an IC in 4 days, and, like, I need to talk to my co-founder, and then, we just need to write up that memo. And
it's all just stalling for the inevitable, which is basically what they should be telling you, which I try my best to do, is like, look, we're not going to come in because of X, Y, and Z. Here are things that we see that's an issue that we don't feel comfortable moving forward.
Yeah.
When does that ever happen?
Or just give like a clear benchmark situation, right? It's like, yes, but only if you get this and this done.
I've been working with 15 plus founders a week for years now through my prior experience. Never happened. It's always, and then to me, it's like the founders get screwed over because they have this like, maybe they're going to come in, maybe they're not. It's not a mental bandwidth. The venture funds get a little anxiety, waste time, putting founders on the wheel of like, maybe we're going to invest, maybe we're not going to invest, maybe we're going to invest, maybe we're not going to invest. Just be clear. Yeah. What the hell do you want? What do you actually want to see to give you confidence? And if you don't have confidence, just say, look, man, we invested. We don't really like where the company's going right now because of these 2 reasons. And until these things get resolved, we're not going to invest.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're going to do things different.
That blunt language is just, it's not being rude, it's being straight. And the founders that experience
upfront,
and that actually want VCs, investors on the cap table to actually shoot straight with them, is like, a lot of founders I've been working with, it's a breath of fresh air.
Tobi and Brent. I like Tobi and Brent.
I mean, at first I hated having my name on the shirt.
But yeah, we're going to
Also,
do
but
things
yeah.
different. So yeah, it's going to be epic.
Be honest, be authentic, have clear communication and expectations,
And a lot of fun.
and then have a lot of fun. Yeah, fun within investing. Fun comes after. With events, fun comes first.
Yeah. Tobi and Brent.
Because when we're actually investing money, you have to actually perform. But events, fun first, connections, and then we invest in your company. Come to our events. Meet a lot of amazing people.
Web3 with Tobi and Brent.
Web3 Tobi and Brent forever. It's simple. It's not rocket science.